Today it's going to be talking about treating parasites with herbs and with food. You might be amazed at some of the things that you've actually got around that you can use straight away, but also towards the end I'm going to share with you our parasite treatment program and how that all works. How important it is to give ourselves a parasite cleanse every year, just like we do with our animals. There is a lot of foods that you can use that are antiparasitic, and a lot of these we actually have in our homes and you'll be able to get access to, and especially be able to include them in your food. It's an interesting thing that herbs and spices have been used around the world to flavour food, but also they work to protect the food and protect the gut by killing bacteria and other potential parasites that could come with the food, and help the body eliminate them as well. So chili is one of those things, and you might have noticed if you have a really hot chili that you get the afterburn the next day. The chili is still hot as it's coming out the bottom end, if you like, and you can get a burning backside from hot chili. So that just shows how it works all the way through your gut. And you can imagine that parasites don't particularly like that either. So it's got a compound in it called capsaicin, which is the primary active component in chili, and that's the one that makes it hot. And it can also disrupt bacteria, so it's antibacterial and interferes with the metabolism. It irritates them and it causes their metabolism to be disrupted. Garlic has a compound in it called allicin, and it's a sulfide compound, so it's based on sulfur, and that's why you get that garlic smell of sulfur. Sulfur is common used as an antibiotic, so a lot of the antibiotics are sulfur based because sulfur is a natural antibiotic. Antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, antiprotozoal. So we talked about protozoa last week, which is an interesting one. Little single-celled parasites. I recommend using about 6 cloves of garlic per person per day when you're doing a parasite cleanse. And it is good to crush the garlic raw and to let those sulfides come out from the raw garlic. If you cook it, it doesn't quite have the same effect. In fact, it won't have the same effect as an antiparasitic. Now this is an interesting one, papaya, or pawpaw it's also called. And you can get this, even in New Zealand we can get it. It's imported, but it's a good all year round fruit to have in your diet because of the high enzymes. It really helps your digestion, but it's the seeds in particular that are antiparasitic. Get a tablespoon of papaya seeds daily and blend it into your smoothies, and that'll have a powerful antiparasitic effect. This is another reasonably well-known parasite treatment in pumpkin seeds. Cucurbitacin paralyzes the worms. You want to use probably the same amount, about a tablespoon, and grind them up or put them in your smoothie as well. So you can do the same thing with those. And when you combine these, when you get multiple things combined, what you're doing is you're increasing the reach. So because there's so many different types of parasites, there's so many different types of bacteria and protozoa that can be in our bodies, it's good to combine and use what you call the entourage effect or the synergy effect, and also the shotgun effect, so you get everything. And that's the whole idea with the Parasite Cleanse program. These are the herbs we're going to talk about now, and they are probably not so available, probably not so commonly found in your pantry, a little bit harder to get, but they are a little bit more powerful. Black walnut. Now this is the walnut, when it comes off the walnut tree, has got a green hull on the outside of it. And then on the inside of that, there's another husk. But you've got to get this husk here when it's black to have the compound in it called eugenol. That's known to be antifungal and antibacterial. And it's also very antiparasitic. It's shown to be effective against various internal parasites, including tapeworms. It helps to expel them. It's an antibacterial against syphilis, diphtheria, and leukemia. So quite an effective medicine, black walnut. So these are the common cloves that you have in your kitchen pantry. And what you can do with these is grind them up into a powder. You can also use it as a herbal tea for stomach bugs because it's antibacterial. And the compound in there is eugenol, and it's the essential oil. So there's 18% essential oil in cloves. And that's why they smell so strong and why they're such a potent herbal medicine. is because of very high content of this essential oil. And this has also been shown to be broad spectrum against microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, viruses, protozoa, and roundworm. So it's another fantastic antiparasitic remedy. Now, you may have heard of Goldenseal. It's usually used in as a liver tonic, but also as a gut sealer. So that's why it's got the name Goldenseal. It's also, when you use Goldenseal, it's got like turmeric, a golden color, and it stains everything gold, but fantastic for sealing the gut. It's also broad spectrum antimicrobial against a variety of organisms, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, even chlamydia. So another powerful antiparasitic remedy. Horapito, so this is a native traditional rongo Maori medicine as well. And this is commonly used around New Zealand by herbalists because it's known to be antifungal, powerful antifungal. And so when you're doing a parasite treatment program, it's good to have antifungal treatment as part of it, because candida is obviously a concern with parasites. And if the gut's in a bad state, then candida takes over and also invites other parasites. So horapito is a great one to include for that. It's got a compound in it called polygoniol. Yeah, it's been well researched actually. You'll notice next to each of these there's a little read more, and that'll take you to either reference material or another article on that specific herb. So if you want to dig into the references and the research. So olive leaf, it's got a compound in it called allicin and hydroxytyrosol. These are phenols. So they are responsible for most of the effect, antiviral, antibacterial, against a range of viruses and bacteria. It inhibits the replication and spread of viruses and bacteria. But something I noticed here with this one, and it's particularly good against, is Staphylococcus aureus, and even the antibiotic-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. So obviously, bacteria are actually parasites as well. They live on our body and survive on us. So part of parasite treatment is also antibacterial. So it's not just treating worms here. We're treating everything or all possibilities in a broad spectrum sense, and especially if you can combine these things, which is what we do with our program, which we'll get to in a minute. A couple more herbs. Thyme. Thyme is antimicrobial, antibacterial. It's also antiviral, and it breaks the film or the biofilm, and it helps prevent adhesion. So it stops these things from lodging in our body and taking hold. Wormwood. This is one of my favorite herbs, wormwood. It's a powerful bitter. It helps the liver function, but it's also known to be hence the name wormwood. It's been known to expel worms. Very powerful. It's got compounds in it called artemisinin, and these are sesquiterpene lactones. So these compounds are known for strong antimicrobial, antibacterial effects, and they disrupt the life cycle of the reproduction of parasites, as well as help to expel them from the body. So there's our program. Now this is the broad spectrum program, and it does come with a guide on food. So you include all of the foods we mentioned and all of the herbs we've mentioned all together. There's a few extra herbs in there as well that support the whole process. But you've got a liquid, a tea, some capsules, and a detox program, or a colon cleansing program. And so I'll just show you those quickly. There's the colon cleansing program. You can get this in a powder, which I'd suggest probably is a good option for doing this. You get a 500 gram powder, which has got all of the herbs we mentioned, most of them in there. The wormwood, the goldenseal, the black walnut, the cloves, they're all in there. And you take a large amount of this, so 2 big scoops a day, which is equivalent to having 40 capsules of a herbal product a day. So it's a mega dose. And we do a mega dose for a reason, and that's because you want to reach the entirety of your gut in particular, and you even want to get those herbs active in the liver. So you need a big dose of these herbs. And same with the food. You really want to focus in on the antiparasitic food while you're taking the herbs to get a broad spectrum effect. Then we've got the ParaCleanse tea, and the tea has got cloves. So we know how powerful cloves are. It's also got some manuka leaf. So you may have heard of manuka honey. So manuka leaf has a broad antimicrobial, antibacterial effect. So it's really good to have in there. And you've got chamomile as a relaxant. So while you're detoxing and cleansing, it's really good to have some kind of muscle relaxant to help your bowels and your gut to relax and let go of things. And so you take 2 or 3 cups of tea per day. And then we've got the colonnade capsules. This is a top up on the antiparasitic herbs, in particular the wormwood, the black walnut and the cloves. But you've also got some rhubarb and some cascara and psyllium in there to flush the bowels. And we take 10 of these a day, so it's quite a big dose. We're completing all of this over 12 days. And then we've got the antiparasitic liquid. That's got a couple of extras in it. It's got the horopito, the Goldenseal, thyme, black walnut, olive leaf, but it's also got powderco, which is another powerful antifungal herb. So that's really helpful to have in there as well. And you do a 15 ml dose on this for 30 days. So this is topping up with antiparasitic herbs even further. All right, so the anti-parasite program is combining all of these remedies all together and all the food. So just to reiterate that, it's the mega dose combination synergy effect. And here's an ebook that gives you an outline too. So if you wanted to download that, you can have it on your device and have a look at it later on. I hope that's been helpful and it's given you some insights into how some of these things work. And also, I hope it's inspired you to consider giving yourself a good parasite cleanse if you haven't done so in the last 12 months, because there's nothing worse than having your energy sapped by something that doesn't belong in your body. And I think with the modern lifestyle, the stress, the food, the diet, and just a combination of exposure and also the habitat changes that we go through, it's really important to give yourself a good parasite cleanse once a year. So thanks for watching once again.